Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the show. We're here at Illuvium for All. I got with me co-host Toki and Astro Toshi, and we got our special guest today, Illuvium Content Creator TSG. Let's go.
What's up? Now, what's good? What's good, guys? What's going on? Yo,
Dude.
thank you guys for having me on, man. It's good. It's gonna be a good time for sure.
Yeah, man, for sure. I know you've been looking forward to this. You've been like interviewing people left and right, creating content left and right, and now you get to answer the questions. You are the main guest today. How does it feel?
I am excited because I didn't have to prepare. I can just kind of sit here and do what I think.
Improvise.
I don't need to be objective. I can just kind of say what I feel, which I'm excited about. So I'm keen to see what you guys have prepared. And if I'm going to give everyone a disclaimer. If I don't know, I'm not going to pretend like I know. I'm just going to have fun with all these questions. So
yeah, for sure, man. And we like to remind everyone that this is not financial advice. We like to create content to educate and to entertain, you know, a little mix in between edutainment, I would say.
Yeah.
So, you know, always do your research. But yeah, man, we're going to have a fun time. We're going to be talking about the state of Illuvium and getting some nice information from TSG that's very deep in the ground level. He hears a lot of things. He learns from a lot of different people that are influential. So we're going to start talking about that. So first of all, let's just get into who is TSG and how did you get involved with Illuvium? I've been seeing your content for a while. Who are you and how did you get involved at all?
Yeah. All right. So who am I? I don't even know how to start this. Essentially, I've been. I'll start. So I'm from Australia. I live in China. I've been here for like 8 years, and just recently, so my whole life essentially changed, like everyone else's, after the virus hit, after the Rona hit, and actually, it's a bit weird for me to say this, but I'm actually going to say that it actually changed my life for the better, like in a way that I could never have imagined. Essentially, what happened was I was like wise enough to know that when that hit and the markets crashed, I was wise enough to know that this was a crazy opportunity, but I didn't have any capital. So I was like, oh shit. And that was the first moment in my life where I was like, oh shit, like I need to be prepared. I actually need to, like, in case something like this happens again, I need to understand how do I make moves, this and that. So ever since that March hit, I made it like my goal. I was like, all right, let me work super hard. Let me not spend any money. Let me keep all of this and start investing. Like, let's just start the process in case anything like this ever happens again. And so essentially that's how I got into, and that was like, again, at the start. So that's how the virus changed my life. And because like we were locked down and I'm in China in the heart of it. So when we were locked down, I had so much time to just research and learn. So I went crazy on stocks. I started learning all of that, index funds. And then one of my homies was always like, yo, get into crypto. And I was like, yeah, I think I will, but I'll keep it at like 5%. Because I was watching people like Graham Stephan, Andre Jick, the financial guys on YouTube, and they're like, oh, 5% in crypto is a smart thing to do. It's a good diversification. I'm like, all right, let me start with that. Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, always. And then it was like, all right, 5% went into 10%. 10% went to 15%. 15% went to 25%. 25% went to 50%. And now I'm sitting at like 75%. Like it's pretty I'm really glad that transition happened and essentially, so that's essentially the whole thing. And every time I've had a lockdown since, it's been nuts. So the first lockdown got me into understanding finances a bit more and just learning about that. The second lockdown, I think, got me into Illuvium. I don't know how, but randomly, it was just the YouTube algorithm just kind of pushed out like play to earn content. I think that's what it was. I honestly can't even tell you. And I saw, I was like, oh, the concept is cool, but the games that they were showing were pretty trash. So as any normal person that knows how to use YouTube, I went into searching like best play to earn games or upcoming play to earn games. And the only game that I saw that kept on catching my eye was there was Big Hero, Big Time. I think that's what it's called. Big Time was kind of cool. Ember Sword was kind of cool compared to what I was seeing. And then Illuvium. And Illuvium was just like way ahead of any of those. And then I just started diving into it and looking into it. And then the more I spent time in it, the more I just started watching Kieran's interviews. That guy is just like persuasive, man. And I love like that his competitive, like just the way he is very passionate and competitive. And I personally relate. I feel the same way. Like I love competition. I love being the best, like, or at least trying to be the best. Like it's just fun. So when the way he talked about it, I was like, oh man, this is a guy I can get behind 100%. And like the product that we're seeing already seems top level. And now I'm seeing that the founder is also someone that I really like appreciate his mindset. So that's how I got into Illuvium. And then the third lockdown that happened here got me into content. So I was like, oh, I finally have time now. Let me get into content. And obviously that's now what I'm doing. And that's changed my life completely. So all 3 lockdowns changed my life like for the better. Like the first one, learning finances. The second one, finding Illuvium. Third one, making content. So I understand that the virus has been like a really bad thing for a lot of people. But I can only be super appreciative. But that is essentially how I found Illuvium. That is a very, very long way to tell you who TSG is and how I found Illuvium.
No,
yeah.
man, that's great. That's great. I resonate with
Cool,
that
man.
because
Yeah.
I started my YouTube channel in March of 2021, I think it was.
Yeah.
But when the lockdown started the year before that, which was like March 2020, that's when like Bitcoin was around 3,000, 4,000.
Oh,
I think I
shit.
started buying ETH at $200 at that point in
Crazy.
time.
Yeah.
Because I was really into finances. And then when the lockdown happened and the massive crash happened, I started buying into tech stocks, and then I started looking into ETH. And then eventually that whole year passed. And after all that, I was teaching people like, what is crypto? What is finances? And I was like, oh, I should build a YouTube channel. So I kind of worked around that. I started with like regular finance. It wasn't like resonating with a lot of people. People were into crypto. So I switched into crypto. I eventually went into play to earn, Axie Infinity. That helped me monetize my channel pretty quickly because a lot of people were going crazy with Axie. And then I'm in Axie. Now I need to learn about all these different play to earn games. And I came across Illuvium and Star Atlas, which were like the best graphics that I saw from a trailer.
Yeah, we got some fans.
We got some
We
fans.
got some fans.
You got some full-on fans.
We apologize, people. Toki is very famous in his country, and
Makes
like,
sense. It makes sense.
and he went to the beach, and
People
now
come
he's
to me.
like
People come to me.
Are you the
This
Illuvium
weird
guy?
guy? So I think about.
Are you the guy? Yo, I'll ask him, man. Does he have any thoughts on Illuvium? I want to get his thoughts.
What's your favorite Illuvium?
Snake Illuvium.
Oh, the snake. He actually knows. I was taking the piss. He actually knows.
Oh yeah, he knows. Oh yeah, he knows.
Yo, that's funny.
So he knows. That's Scoriox.
Yeah. But yeah. Yo, actually, so about what you were saying, man, about the whole Star Atlas. And again, I'm gonna be honest again, and I'm happy that I'm not the one hosting, so I can just go on tangents. Man, the Star Atlas thing. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am cautious of Star Atlas just because. Because again, it was the same thing. It was Star Atlas and Illuvium, and they were the two that caught my eye. Illuvium seemed very probable to do. Like the scope of what they were trying to achieve seemed very probable. It wasn't like they weren't promising the world. They were like, all right, we're trying to get an order battler. This is how we're going to do it. It seemed like it was a doable task at hand. Star Atlas, on the other hand, I mean, I hope it does what they set out to do. But to me, I feel serious cyberpunk vibes. Like they're trying to just do a lot, and I think they're still going to do some good stuff. But for them to actually achieve everything they set out to do, that's a tall order. So again, I'm hopeful, but that's why I did.
2035, baby. I'm like, I'll jump in because I was exactly on your shoes. I read the whole white paper since it was like before they even took out the token. Because I read both white papers and I said, like, dude, if this ever lift off, yes, it will be great. I don't think so. I think it's as you say, and like too much and that like pre-selling of NFTs too. That massive pre-selling of NFT was like, I don't like to talk bad about other projects or anything,
Yeah.
but it's something that does not resonate with me.
Yeah.
So I'm like very more towards the Illuvium side, like no whitelist, no pre-sale of NFTs and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and that
Yeah.
it's doable. And they put a
Yeah.
concept. That's what you said. An auto battler, simpler, but with fantastic graphics. And
Yeah.
then an overworld that is just not interacting with so many people, but
Yeah.
it's like an exploration experience, which also drew me. Like one of my favorite games I always remember since a kid was like Shadow of the Colossus. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
ever played that game. That is just
Yeah.
you in this like massive world. It's just like quiet and like it was just beautiful to like
Yeah.
roam and walk around. It was perfect. So yeah, and it's doable. That's what I say. It's like I
Yeah.
think, oh, can they do this in like 2 years,
Yeah.
1 year, 1.5 year? I think yes, I think it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't feel like you're just like hoping, right? It's like, oh yeah, like it just seems, yeah, like you say, it's doable. It's like, oh, that's the task. It doesn't seem like it's impossible to do. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it happening. Whereas Star Atlas is like, Jesus, man. Again,
Yeah,
hopeful,
definitely.
but
yeah.
This is when I started. This was back in July, and in
Yeah.
July, I think Star Atlas had more, like had a marketplace, had
Yeah.
tokens, had staking. I know Illuvium had all that, but they only had the cinematic trailer, which had
Yeah.
recently come out. So like I'm comparing both cinematic trailers, and I'm like, okay, the cinematic trailers are like on
Yeah.
point, both of them. But then when I got into the tokenomics and when I learned about how they sell their NFTs and the governance, I mean, I think the governance sounds cool, but it also seems like whales will be able to get more NFTs earlier, like from a whitelist type format. And I didn't like that. And then when I started learning the tokenomics of Illuvium and IOV, that's when I like geared more towards Illuvium, right? So I'm with
Yeah.
you, but at the beginning, like in that summer craze, like the best looking projects at the point were Illuvium and Star Atlas,
Star
I think,
Atlas,
and
yeah.
maybe some
Yeah.
others, but yeah, definitely, I agree with you. Like once the dust settled and I learned the most that I could, I knew for me Illuvium stood out more than the rest. So
Yeah.
I guess with that, I mean, you kind of touch upon that, but
All right, so TSG, what is the most important thing that drew you to the game, to Illuvium?
That drew me to Illuvium would probably be Kieran. That drew me to it, like got me interested, was definitely Kieran. Again, just because I believe a lot in people. I believe that people can. Are we allowed to cuss? Can we cut like swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
Yep. I believe people can fuck up. Like people can fuck products. Like these things happen. But there are going to be people that fight through that and keep going. And those are the people that I really, because I think that's the type of person I am. I know that I've been super blessed to have a brother who's like crazy hardworking and like he's just, again, when I look at Kieran, he reminds me of my brother. So when I see that and I have that first-hand experience of what that's like, and I see the work ethic of a person like that, it just seems like it's a no-brainer to me. Like nothing's gonna stop my brother, and nothing's gonna stop Kieran and Grant and Aaron. That was what drew me into it. I kind of picked up on that energy straight away, and I was like, cool, that competitiveness, that kind of confident bravado, being like, nah, I'm gonna be the best. Like, again, I'm a big fan of Kanye West. Like, I love that. I love that shit where it's like, yo, talk your, like, feel yourself. I really want people to, like, I feel we live in, like, the whole social media thing. This is going to be a tangent, but, like, the whole social media thing, everyone's insecure and trying to show how perfect their life is. And it's just like people are pretending to be confident. But when someone is authentically confident, it's very, very easy to spot that, I think. And
You can see it. You can.
and I just want, and I just want everyone to feel that way. I just want everyone to feel like, yo, you can do anything that you want as long as you put the time in and effort in. Like, there's nothing you physically can't do. I mean, there is, but you understand what I mean, right? Like, you can achieve a lot of things as long as you. And so when I see that again, Kieran's like, man, I can do this, I can do that. We're going to do this. It was like, yeah, man, easy. I buy into that. I buy into you. That's what drew me in. What got me stuck was once I started to actually learn about what they were building. The tokenomics, that was probably one of the biggest things. I was like, all right, cool. The concept of owning your assets in game, again, other games have done that. Obviously, Axie Infinity is probably the biggest one that we know of. But it was like, oh, cool. Again, it was like, man, there's so many things. Like the concept of Pokemon. I've tried to play the new Pokemon, and man, it's just trash. Like I don't understand how the biggest, like the highest grossing, the highest grossing Kieran drew me a tokenomics. Yeah, pretty much exactly the same. Oh, that's what I said. I was like, yo, that's exactly how I feel. That's what I said. But yeah, like Pokemon, like they're the highest grossing media franchise in the world, and the games are like for children. Like they handhold you every step of the way, and it's like they've forgotten. Well, it just seems ridiculous. It just seems ridiculous. So
the
like,
OG kids have grown up, man. Like
exactly. Exactly, and it's like I don't know. Again, I'm actually curious. Like, how much of the revenue is coming from actual young kids picking up Pokemon for the first time, compared to people like us that have had experience with Pokemon and are still buying it, hoping that they're going to grow with us.
Or
like,
buying
if
it
all
for
of
the
us
kids.
actually stop, are the young kids still buying Pokemon like that? I'm not sure. And so that's why I was like, oh, Illuvium. It just made sense. Like we like those type of games, man. Like, and again, I'm actually a competitive. Yeah, I'm actually a competitive Smash
I can
Brothers
see it in
player
the
as
back.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I like the competition. I like that. Like, yo, so again, Illuvium, you got to collect things, and you own those things, and then you're telling me you got to compete on a mental, because Smash Bros is very. Yes, you have like quick reactions, but it's very mental. Like, what is your game plan? How are you going to react? Like, how are you going to approach? How are you going to pressure them? And it's very it's a very mental game, and I love that. So again, Illuvium having all of those things, man, it's just I can talk about everything why Illuvium made me stay. Everything about Illuvium essentially is just super well thought out. But to go back to answer the specific question, yeah, Kieran drew me in. What about you guys? I'm actually curious. I ramble a lot, so I want to hear what you guys think as well.
So for me, Julio was the one that actually pointed me to the right direction. So we were looking. He was into Axie, and he started to trying to make me get into Axie. I was doing my research, but then things started to get unclear with Axie. So he started looking for new games, and he threw a bunch of them at me to see what I thought about them. And the only one that stuck big time, and it wasn't big time, but I do like the game. The only one that stuck was Illuvium because of their tokenomics, how they launched, and everything they do. Like, they're not selling their NFTs, well, just land, but the main NFTs that you gain, the Illuvials, you're gonna get them through playing. You don't have to pay a cent. If you want to pay, you can go and get it in the secondary market. But it's a fair way to do things. When I was comparing it with another game that he told me was Star Atlas, and I do think it will be pretty cool. But the thing that drew me out of it was that a lot of whales were buying all the cool stuff, and so all the prices were crazy. So I was like, okay, that how is that fair? The OGs got everything.
Yeah.
Like, how can you compete with that if you don't have enough money? And I don't like it to be like whale games. I want it to be an actual game. And then when people start saying play and earn, not play to earn, I started to like that. I was like, man, people like video games. Like, they should like this because it's a cool game to play, and it is a really cool game to play. Honestly, pretty cool.
Yeah. And what about both of you guys? What drew you guys in?
Yeah, I'm interested. Toki, you can go first.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, like the structure of it all, it has like I think I had the same experience as you guys, as like finding out the deep diving into this new whole Web3. We're like super gaming nerds. I think all of us. That's why like we're here. It's obvious our interest. So that's and when I started seeing about owning your own assets and that whole concept, I thought it was like, this is just brilliant. This is mind-blowing, brilliant. And in that, then I stumbled upon, like by luck, or I'm not a man of fate, but I think it was almost fated, man. It was. And then I started going on to Illuvium. Of course, the structure drew me into it, how probably it was to it, that cost. But what like stuck me was the community. It was just it's I cannot even explain it, man. I just like ask because I ask a lot of things when I don't know. I'm never afraid to say, well, I don't know. Does someone
Yeah.
can someone like help me or point me out in the direction? And that all the mods that are mods right now at the time, they're like extremely helpful. Like
Yeah.
even I think even Aaron answered a couple of questions I had. If I still remember correctly on impermanent loss. He was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, do you need to like search this and that? Like, this is what you need to be worried about. And then it like absolutely drew me in. It's like everyone is so helpful, and that's exactly what I started doing. It gave me the feeling of giving that exact same thing back. So I just started in the best way I can help, like in the Spanish chat.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of English speaking mods everywhere that are there. So I said like, yeah, I'll start helping everyone I can in every language, but in Spanish we had like a huge lack in it. And although it's still not um, community has not like humongously rally around it, like I know the Spanish community is going to be humongous.
Yeah.
And we all need help and content, and that's why like with these awesome guys here too, we're trying to like get we give back what I got from the community. It's like actual hard research fact content. And yeah, that's in a nutshell Illuvium for me, and everything that you guys say, of course,
Yeah.
I can here spend like 5 hours talking about
Yeah. We
exactly every little
can.
crook and cranny. I can just like go, I take
Yeah.
out the white paper right now that still holds up good, and
Yeah.
take out the Illuvium Zero tokenomics and go through that, and then I can go like nonstop. But
Yeah.
yeah, mainly that, and of course the it's a fairly good point that you made. I really like that about the Kiran that drew you in, because it is at
Yeah.
some point I was just like seeing exactly a documentary on that, on like how we all human beings, all we need to trust. There's
Yeah.
always a point of trust, especially in like investment in any type. You need to
Yeah.
like look at the people in charge and say like, do I trust these people?
Yeah.
And it's you feel the energy, you feel how the like we had like ups and downs, that there was the vulnerability it was, but everyone got through it. We got through it. It just made the protocol stronger.
Yeah.
Like it slowed down some processes, but everything that's come out ever since, it's just been good, man. It
Yeah.
works. It works.
Yeah. And the way I got involved was basically what I said. I was in Axie Infinity. I was looking at new options because I had an academy that was counting on me to make scholar money, right? So I was like, money, like income is going down. What am I gonna do? Like, I have all these people. How am I gonna like incentivize them to stay? Like, so I started looking into other games. Star Atlas was one, D-Race was another, and then the other was Illuvium. So I started buying into all these projects, learned about the tokenomics, and the tokenomics got me really. I'm an accountant, so like when I first came in, I was like, damn, this makes sense. And I was telling Javi, like, dude, 10 million supply, it goes down. Like it can't go up. Like, look at the APY. When I started talking to him, it was like 450. Like, look at this APY. You got ETH and you got IOV. If IOV goes up, you get more ETH. If it goes down, you get more IOV. Dude, it's like it's crazy.
It's a no-brainer.
No, and
It's
monkey
a no-brainer.
that beautiful rev this.
Yep.
Yeah.
That beautiful rev this as well.
Yo, the SLP thing is hilarious to me, because I'm like, because I told my wife, I'm like, oh yeah, there is a bit of risk to it, of course, but in my mind, I'm like, if you're long term on ILV, it's like you're pairing ILV and ETH. Okay, and permanent loss, you might have more ETH than ILV. Oh my god, that's so you have more ETH. Oh my god,
that's horrible.
The other way, you might have more ILV than ETH. Oh my god, that means I generate more revenues. That's horrible. Like it's like, yo, it's really, as long as you have a long-term time frame, it's like, yo, it's a win-win situation. Like honestly, it's not.
And even in the short term, when these huge fluctuations happen in price, it actually mitigates the downside as well. Does mitigate upside, but you're generating revenue, so it really doesn't matter that much.
Market is bleeding right now. Like, but like with the I'm staked in the SLP pool. It looks like I don't even look at it anymore. It doesn't really matter.
You know what's nuts about that? Something that I've thought about, because I just checked it recently. Because the markets are down, most of our tokens should have, like in the SLP pool, we should have a higher percentage of Illuvium because the markets are down. which means that in the SLP pool, now with the land sale coming out and the revenue we get, because we have more ILV in the SLP, we actually get more ILV back as well. So it's like, it's an insane thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's down, but all right, cool, it works for us right now.
Yep.
So it's hilarious.
That's
I'm like,
I was like,
because I saw it and I was like, oh man, my ILV's gone up like quite a decent amount. It's like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Because like I was a little bit in the slump because I was like, man, if ILV just keeps climbing, I'm gonna have less rev dis.
Yeah,
and that was like my only downside. Like, I'm generating yield, and that compensates for the rev dis. But like, I would like more ILV. And
you want to maximize rev dis, right?
Exactly.
The market going down maximizes rev dis for us. So I'm like, all right, cool. Go for it.
It's ridiculous, because I remember in the bull run I hated it because I saw like the ILVs going down. I was like, no, I don't want that ETH. Imagine that's your problem. Getting more ETH.
Exactly, right?
Any
say
person
things like, oh my god, I have more
like,
ETH. Like, oh my god.
When it resonated with me, and this is what I try to explain to people, because people are always like, oh, impermanent loss, like impermanent loss. And I'm like, dude, impermanent loss is also impermanent gain. Like, it goes both ways. If you have a stable coin pack and you are buying the dip on a token, this is essentially what you're doing when you're in SLP. If ETH dips, you'll be buying more ETH with ILV. If ILV dips, you'll be buying more ILV with ETH. So it's basically a DCA between ILV and ETH. And when I understood that, I was like, I'm not mad about that.
it's not.
I'll win either way. Like, what am I going to do with this ETH if I don't stake it? It's just going to stay in ETH.
Exactly, yeah.
So I might as well do it ILV ETH, earn ILV, which I want to hold now that I understand it, right? But before it was like, oh, ETH and all the maxi. So yeah, man, that was like very important for me. But now I have to go on a little tangent so that we can continue where we were going.
And we might go a bit overtime. I'm feeling we might go a bit overtime. I hope you guys are okay with that. I'm enjoying this conversation.
I'm fine. But now we have the great Tolkien, and he might have to leave a little early because he's at the beach and he needs to go get his tan. So I'll let him get his questions out of the way.
You know that you've been like creating since last time this governance talk with the nominees, which I find like amazing because I'm really into the governance. As you know, I'm like nominated also this epoch. I nominated myself and like with the guys.
We'll have that interview tomorrow.
We'll be way earlier and with less background. So towards the governance, I wanted to ask you, like, what are your thoughts on like improving the engagement? Because I know like you're like very pro content creator side, which I think it's really good, and it's one of the ways to like to get people because it's very important, at least for me, it's very important the governance side of it. So what are your thoughts on the matter? I know you've been like having good thoughts on that.
So I've actually been thinking a lot about this recently because obviously I've been doing all the interviews for nominees. So essentially the last time that I'm going to be honest with everyone, right? So the last time I did it, I started I started doing the interviews, and they were my 7th video. They were my 7th video, and I started doing those interviews. My reason for that was I realized that a lot of the big guys, everyone kind of knew them, and it was easy for them to get voted. The smaller guys, no one's going to actually, if they don't know you, no one is going to read what you're saying in Discord. Like, there's too much of that shit going on anyway. So it's hard for people to actually get to know you. Thirdly, it's like, man, it's so much easier to trust someone when you can hear them speak about what they believe in. You can see their face. You can feel their intent. It just made sense to give those guys a chance to speak. And lastly, and this is me being completely honest, I thought that it was going to be a great way. It was going to be a great way for me to actually get to know people in the community. Like, actually reach out and be like, all right, let me put myself in a position where I can get to know people, speak to people, and obviously, I think that's even how I came onto here, right? Because obviously we had a chat before Tolkien, and I feel like, again, it was like the start of something, right? So it was like for that was why I started back then. Those were the reasons. Now I feel like it's super important, and it feels like by doing that first time, I kind of become the guy who does the governance interviews. That was never the plan, but it feels like it's happened. And I'm happy that it's happened because, again, I feel like I'm now speaking to a lot more people. Like I've got Sasha coming on. I've been meaning to chat with Sasha, and I haven't made time. And now this is going to be the first time I talk to him. Even Santiago, I've got something planned with him. And he's like a hard guy to reach. So I'm really excited. So my thoughts on governance is, as a DAO, we really as a DAO, there are two aspects of the DAO. There's the game side and the tokenomics. I'm going to count that as one. And then you've got the governance side. Right now, I feel like we're paying not too much attention. All of the attention we are paying is on the game side and the tokenomics. And there's not enough side on the governance. Like, there are things that, and I've spoken to Dick Kings about this, and he got back to me today. Hopefully, again, we can keep working on this in the future. But I actually wrote a proposal about the possibility of having an Illuvium governance channel on YouTube, where it only focuses on governance. So again, like when I do the interviews, pretty much everyone that I interview, or a lot of people on the side, are like, yo, we appreciate this is very valuable to the community. So it shows that the community actively does want governance as a topic. And I was just saying, like, if we have a governance channel, man, you could have these elections, you could organize them a bit better. You could have like actual nominee debates. We can set up a time where we have 2-on-2 debates or something like that. I came up with so many ideas. So it's like, man, IIP discussions, IIP debates amongst community members. There's just so many things that you can do if you have an actual place to do it. And right now, me being a content creator, not everyone watches me. So me doing these interviews on my channel is just like, oh, it's a content creator doing these talks. If you put the Illuvium branding on it, it formalizes it and it adds that formality to it, like an official thing. And I think that would be helpful. Like I said, I heard back from Dick King's marketing, obviously focusing on land right now, so it's not something that they're really looking at. But it is something that I'm going to keep actively pushing for. I know Dick King said that he's definitely like a supporter of it. Taraji's a supporter of it. Ra Lord, even Dick King said that Kieran likes the idea. So like, there's a lot of people that are supporting the idea. It's just about how do we get it out there and actually like do it. And I want to put it out there, not to like add pressure on the situation, but it's just like, it's something that I feel that really should be looked into, like actually like formalizing the governance side of things. And town halls is another thing. Like, if you want to still use Discord for the voice chat because it's more efficient, but you can stream it on YouTube, or that YouTube channel can act like as an archive. So in 5 years' time, you can look at everything and follow exactly how we grew in the governance and see how governance has evolved over time. Because like I said, in the DAO, you've got the gaming and tokenomics and the governance. That the whole point of the ILV is RevDiz, and it's a governance token. Yeah. So those are my thoughts. Thoughts. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree, disagree? Do you have any other ideas? Like, what do you guys think?
When I interviewed Vetamore, this is something that came up. I think I was trying to bring it up and we didn't have time, but dude, I think it would be fucking awesome, right? If we're just sitting in a format like that, and then we get the Illuvium governance channel, and then we get TSG that's like Steve Harvey, and he's like nailing the government, like the council members or the council nominees with questions, and then you can hear Tolkien answer, and then you can hear Jiraji answer something, and then you see the personal side of them, right? But you also shining light on them, and you're not sending them directly to your channel, which is great, but like you said, it's still small like ours, and we're just trying to grow it, and we want this to grow at a faster rate. Like we're not jealous about it. We just want Illuvium to grow in general. So I think debating in a friendly, polite way is very nice, right? Because you can see how people interact with each other, and then others can also see like, oh wow, like Illuvium holds these like every 3 months, or if we change it later, every 6 months or whatever. But it's pretty cool to be able to just be all together in some sort of way and make it fun, entertaining, and also educational for the people to see all these candidates and stuff like that. So I definitely agree with you on that, man. I think there's a lot that can be done there.
Yeah, like I actually like in that proposal that I wrote, I did nominate myself. I was like, look, man, I've obviously done it before. I think I've been doing a good job with being objective. Like I try not to in those interviews. That's why I'm glad I can talk my shit here, and I can be like, these are my feelings. But in those interviews, I don't really share my feelings because that's not what I'm supposed to do. And I think like again, I'm not affiliated to any guild. And it's like my job is legitimately to give you the chance to say what you want to say. I ask the questions from the community, the stuff that the community wants to know, and then you kind of just relay what your perspectives are on based what the community wants to know. So again, let's see how it goes. Again, I'm doing all of these this time around, and hopefully maybe next election we can start getting a bit more. Like even this time around, I've definitely optimized the efficiency with using the Calendly links. Like Tolkien knows, like last time it was a headache being like, yo, what time zone are you in? I'm free at this time in my time zone. So using the Calendly app, I kind of just put like when I'm available and I just say, yo, look, I'm doing interviews. Choose a time that works for you. It shows them in their time zone. They just book the time. And then it's just so much easier. Like last time I had 7 interviews and it was a headache to organize. Now I've already got 11. I've done it for like 2 days and I've got 11 interviews booked. So it's just like, yo, that's efficiency at its max level.
Hell yeah, it's improvement, man. That's what I love. It's beauty, you know. That when you stick to something, as you said, if you keep working on it, working on something, and you're passionate about it, it will evolve into better. It will always just get better from the ground up. I think it's fantastic. I think like candidates and people who are passionate about governance, to share a common space on some topics and like also like hard hitting questions too that put people on the spot. Can show you like true character and true intentions too. And I think the interaction between them, it's a necessity for everyone. And I think it also get people more engaged because, as you know, like last epoch, like voting went down. Yeah, cool, man.
I'm curious to see how it goes this time. I hope we get more engagement this time.
I love it. I love it. I swear to God, since it started, and I never thought about like nominating or anything since back a lot of months ago. I've always had a passion about the all election cycles. It's awesome. So I want also to get your opinion as your like content creator and deep in that in the Illuvium part. How do you feel that the program that the core team has right now is going? Just as your opinion, and or if you know anything about it, and do you think they could like do something more or reach better, or is it okay?
So I want to just make sure I'm understanding 100%. So the influencer program, you mean the stuff with Kyle, right?
Yeah, correct. With the marketing department, like Kyle and Andrew, they're pushing a lot of stuff. I know that they have to push a lot of stuff, but this is also a part that they've been pushing out vocally. There's a official form, etc., etc. How do you feel this has been going, or does it need like a bit more interaction? I don't know. I just want to hear your thoughts about it, or if you have any experience on that.
I definitely have a lot of experience with this. I think they're doing an amazing job, man. Honestly, I forget who. Like for me, I got into it a little bit later. But yo, a massive shout out to Najif Plays for Vulcan. Like those guys were pushing me a lot. Like they were DMing Andrew, being like, "Yo, check out TSG, check out TSG." So they were the ones that got my name in front of Andrew. So I appreciate those guys so much. I really hope they see this this interview because I really do appreciate them. There might be some others I might have forgotten. I apologize for those, but I know that Vulcan and Najib definitely were super vocal. As soon as Andrew kind of got wind of that, and I think once he started to see like, especially because Vulcan's got a lot of goodwill in the community, and when they saw Vulcan vouch for me like that, I think they kind of took it a bit more serious. And the moment that Vulcan started vouching for me, I think Andrew essentially teed up a phone call with me, just be like, "Yo, wanted to chat with me. Yo, where do I want to take this content stuff?" And it was just really good, man. Like I feel like they really take the time to get to know us and see where our mind's at and give us the information that we need. Ever since then, Kyle's obviously taken over now, and Kyle is doing an amazing job as well. We've had him on the podcast. I chat to them pretty regularly. I won't say so regularly, but pretty regularly. And they're doing amazing stuff, man. I know like they're sponsoring podcasts. I know that they're trying to just help out as much as they can. Like this whole setup that I have essentially right now, they kind of hooked up. So we made an agreement on doing some videos. I did those videos, and they got me like, this whole setup essentially, like the camera, the stream deck, the monitor, like pretty much everything I'm using now, apart from my laptop, because my laptop was already pretty good. They hooked it all up, man. The table, the chair that I'm sitting on. So they're actively out here helping influencers. Like the whole thing about not putting dollars into like Facebook or Google ads, putting it straight into the influencers, I can vouch 100% that is exactly what they are doing. And it's just, it's a really good thing. And then they've got phone calls, like monthly phone calls with content creators sharing top ideas for hot topics that are going down, content ideas that they think are going to hit well. Man, they're doing an amazing job. The only thing that I can really suggest, or not even suggest, the only thing that I have noticed is it's just a lot of work, man. For those guys, I mean, for Kyle, being one man, having to deal with all of those things, I would not like. Not that I wouldn't like to be in that position, but I know I can imagine it can get a bit much. So possibly expanding that slightly. But again, I don't know the inside things. But you guys are also, but you guys are also content creators. Like, how's your experience with them? I didn't even think to ask. Like, what do you guys?
TBD. We're working on it. It's something that we're definitely interested in, and we're working towards that. Right. We're kind of spinning off a little bit our content. We're trying to do both in English and Spanish. Yep. Like you said, we really want to reach the community and educate. And I think there's a lot of value in the English community, right? Like people like you, Vetamore, which we've had, Daraji, and we want to keep interviewing people.
So Daraji is a gangster.
Oh my God.
I love Daraji. He is a gangster. Like, he is so smart, man. Like, love that guy. Yeah.
I was so like, Daraji, dude, I was so intimidated in our meeting because he's so intelligent. And he's so data driven that I don't want to fuck up my next question, right? Like, how do I follow up what he's saying with a question, right? Like, I'm like in my head. But yeah, man.
Imagine how I felt today, man. I had him and Scariox, because me and Scariox obviously have our podcast. So it was me, Scariox, and Daraji, and both of those guys are like technical guys, and I'm like trying to keep up. I was like, yo, like, I'm gonna try and throw the ball to you guys and let you guys do the heavy lifting. But that was nuts.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we're making our way. We're trying to make the Hispanic community, very tight with the overall community, and bring attention to the what we call the Illuvisexuals. Just people who love Illuvium, people who believe in the long-term growth of Illuvium. It's like a preference, right? Like, if you were to choose crypto or NFT gaming, where are you choosing? Well, you're choosing Illuvium. Axie. So your preference.
I love that.
Axisexual. Yeah, I don't think there's many Axisexuals in
not anymore.
Current history. So yeah. Anyways, that's a little plug for that. But I guess we can move on to the next question, which is Javi's.
Okay, TSG. Land is almost here. Land sale's almost here, and we know the mechanics of it. What do you think people should look forward to the most? Fuel or the blueprints?
And just to give some context, this question derived from TSG's interview with our great CEO, Kieran Warwick. So, this was a question that he brought up to Kieran. So now I want to hear what he learned and how he interprets that.
Yeah. So this is actually, it's funny that you guys brought this question up, because we actually had the same discussion today on the podcast with Raji and Scariox. There's two types of players that are going to go into Illuvium land. There's the ones that want to play the market and go into fuel, and the ones that want to be collectors and do blueprints. So the question, what do you think the landowners have more to look forward to? It depends on the player themselves. What is going to be most efficient and effective, like revenue producing? Hard to say. I think long term. I think short term. It's even hard to say. Okay, long term. I think fuel. Like extreme long term. Once we have more games out in this, like 5-6 games that all rely on fuel, fuel is definitely going to be like insane. Short term, like, and long term, it's going to have a positive effect on blueprints as well. But I mean, like short term, like thinking right now, I think it's going to be blueprints. I think blueprints are going to be the ones because we're not going to have so many blueprints out there. The scarcity is going to make them more valuable. I think if you're looking at revenue as a landowner, I think blueprints might be the way. I'm not an expert. This is just my assumptions now and just the stuff that I've been thinking. As a player myself, I am personally looking forward to blueprints. Just being able to collect it, sell it. It's like the fuel thing is cool. It's like it's the main part of the game, and like the fluctuating 25% is all cool. But the idea of blueprints, and I think it was in Vulcan's interview with Kieran. Kieran was mentioning like, I'm sure you guys watched it. The concept of, for example, say I own a Titanor, Titanor skin, a Titanor skin. And then, for example, Doki also has that skin. I can now ask him, be like, yo, man, sell me that blueprint so I have a monopoly. Like, just the possibilities of what you can do there is just very interesting. Or maybe I could be like, yo, Doki, you don't want to buy it, but man, me and you are cool. Let's not undercut each other on that price. Let's kind of work together and say, all right, this is the floor that we're going to work on. We won't change it. That way, whoever sells it, but we're not undercutting each other. So in regards to like a lot of community communication possibilities there, maybe he is an asshole and wants to undercut me. Like these are all possibilities. So I think the potential for fun in blueprints is a lot more than fuel for me personally. But that's where I stand. Long term, again, I think the actual revenue potential for land, like in the 5-10 year mark, is definitely the fuel is going to take that win there. But what about you guys? Actually, I want to ask you guys, what are you guys most looking forward to? Because there's the gameplay, right? Because I was Jesus in my interview, I kind of summarized with Kieran that there were 3 main things to look for in land. It was the gameplay itself, like the city builder gameplay, the playing the market on fuel, and the collectability aspect of the blueprints. If you guys could, if you guys could rank them by what you are most interested in, like just go around. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. So gameplay, fuel marketplace, and collectability of blueprints.
Togi, you wanna? I see you on the edge of your seat.
Gameplay,
man.
yeah, hell yeah. Gameplay first. Fuel, and then that's a tough one because I find them extremely tied up, fuel and blueprints, because if I heard correctly, I think Kieran also said that I watched 1,000 interviews, that also it's a process that requires like a lot of resources to do, to find blueprints. So it's very tied up. So if you don't have like your fuel extraction optimized, then you'll have to go and buy fuel if you want, like if you're like concentrated on your blueprints. So I almost have it almost on the same level. I'm excited I think I'm more excited for the blueprints side of it, because hell yeah, we're collectors, and hell yeah, we love kids. But I cannot let down the fuel production. It has to be. And I love that type of games. Like, I know some other people don't really like that type of city building game, but I love it. All these guys know this. Ghost reminds me of like some good old Command and Conquer ones. That like I freaking love that.
Yeah.
For me,
what about you guys?
Yeah. So for me, I really want to play because I currently have land in other metaverses, but I can't do anything. So
you can look at it. You can look at it.
I can see the price fluctuating, and that's about it. I'm in a good location. Awesome. When can I get in?
Where's the floor price? What's the
Exactly.
You have the option to look at it and sell it. The 2 options you have.
Exactly. It's really cool. I have a piece. All right. Yeah. But with Illuvium, we're going to actually be able to buy it and play it almost immediately. Yeah. So So I'm really looking forward to that and developing my land. I'm also really interested in creating mega cities. I know it's not in the scope of the question, but like I'm really interested in creating mega cities and how that dynamic works. And when I when I watched the interview with Kieran and Vulcan, and Kieran started talking about the dynamics of blueprints, that got me extremely interested. But it's not a guaranteed science. You can lose a lot. And so Kieran spoke about it. It's like, yeah, like if you're a degen, you can definitely go that route, and it could be lucrative because of the points that you said, TSG. But I think I'm more looking forward to being able to actually use my land, and secondly, being able to actually have that land produce something. And then third would be the added bonus of being able to get a blueprint. And I'll definitely try to get a blueprint. And if I get one, I'll definitely like sell it and distribute it and do the strategies that they spoke about in that interview. And you touched on it as well. So yeah, I think that's how I'm looking at it. I think gameplay, then field generation, and then blueprints in that order.
Yeah, so for me, I'm not that interested in the gameplay. I like the gameplay, I'm not gonna lie. For me, it's about extraction. You know, and then people know me, like I got dollar bills in my eyes, and now I got like ETH and
I think I can see that now.
Yeah, you can see the IOV. I got IOV eyes, you know. So like for me, I think the gameplay looks awesome. I can recognize it as an investor, but I'm mainly worried about fuel. I think fuel is gonna be literally, no pun intended, the fuel of the game, and it's going to be highly liquid. I think blueprints are going to be less liquid, but I think at the beginning, when let's say the beta come out and we have to wait for the main game to launch. I think blueprints will be a big part because people know that when the game resets, you can use those blueprints that you gained during that time. And
yeah. That's the only thing that won't get wiped out.
So like fuel doesn't count, but you can start accumulating blueprints during
and you keep those blueprints.
And you keep them, and then when the market launches and when the game launches, you can actually use them, right? And monetize them. So I think at the beginning, blueprints will be big. But I think overall, I think fuel is gonna be the economy driver, and that's what I'm trying to get into.
But it also depends, you know, because the way to the blueprint is like it's far along in your city too. It's not like the first step. You have to build a lot to get your transcendent and to get like everything else.
Or pay a lot. Pay a lot to speed it up.
Or pay a lot to speed it up. So
what do you pay with?
If it hasn't changed, you will keep your blueprints.
What do you pay with?
Once everything
US. Like if you're paying for microtransactions, what are you paying with? Has that been confirmed yet?
Isn't it fuel?
No, I thought resources.
Speeding up transactions? I don't think so. I might be wrong.
Fuel.
It could be ETH.
Yeah.
No, but you have to convert that ETH into fuel.
To speed things, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna.
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wait.
I'm gonna go read back again on that and the original GDD.
My understanding is that it's fuel, so that's what I'm. But anyways, in the main game, you'll need to use fuel. So I'm like, okay, like if this is interconnected, I get the blueprint part, and I see it as more speculative because people want that collector item. But I think the mainstream will be in the fuel. And if you're in the mainstream with the fuel, then that's where I follow the money, right? So then I like the blueprints piece, but then I think I'm interested in the gameplay because it is interesting, but it's just not my main thing. I know Tolkien is like a big city builder type guy. So he loves it. He's a fanboy. But yeah, so like just cutting back to the point. So yeah, I guess I think that also drives us to the next question, right? What did Kieran mention about lending and sharing land? And what do you think? Because I think it's important for us, and like, I mean, I'm saying us in general, the investors in land. For me, I'm not necessarily interested in playing it the whole time. So I'll probably try to hire or get some scholars on to farm the land. So like, what did Kieran mention about that? And what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. So Kieran mentioned that they haven't actually built the system yet. But he's been what's the word? Sorry guys, being in China, my vocabulary is kind of shrunk. He's been assured. He's been assured by Johnny that it's not a difficult thing to build, and he's been assured that once the game is out, the system will be out with it as well. So just the whole idea of, say I have land, you guys want to use my land, we can agree on a predetermined split, 70-30, 50-50, whatever it is, and just give it to you. And at any point, if I feel like you're not actually working as hard as you should, or you're not using it as efficiently as you should, I can claim that back if it is my land. So I think that's really, really interesting that they're going to build that in the system themselves, because I think that's going to do a lot for the buying prices of during the land sale. Because now that we know that this is confirmed, I think tier 1 being as as available, as accessible. Sorry guys, my vocabulary. Being tier 1 being as accessible as it is already. Now that we know that we can lend it out, I have a feeling out of all the tiers, tier 1 is going to be sold or being bought at the highest premium. I think people are just going to want to collect as many of them. And people are going to pay like maybe 60, 70, maybe 80% of starting price. That's my prediction. Again, none of this is financial advice. I don't know. But just from understanding the value of what lending does, that's the result I think we're going to see on the land sale. I don't think we're going to see it affect too much on. I doubt people are going to be lending out tier 4 lands. I just don't see that really happening on scale.
Right.
Just because the price, right? Again, like you might have guilds that do that, but I mean, for the average person like me, us four, like, let's be real. Any of us, if we can afford a T4,
oh no,
are we gonna buy multiple T4s to lend out? Probably not.
The thing is what I was saying is, why would you lend it out? Like, unless, why would you lend it out? Like, it's the most efficient one. In regards to fuel, and that's the heart of the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
So
if you're a guild and you have multiple of them, then I guess it makes sense. Like, because that makes sense. But again, for the lending for the average person really makes sense around tier 1. So I think we're gonna see a lot. But I think the inclusion of this is awesome, man. It's changed my perspective, because I was like, I'm gonna I know what I want to try and get. And now with this, I'm thinking I might be getting a bit more. If I can, I might actually go a bit harder on it than previously expected. What are your thoughts? Because I know you've said that you've played Axie, and Axie is like obviously a huge scholarship thing that goes on there. How do you think implementing this lending and sharing for land is going to affect Illuvium and the community?
Yeah, so real quick, man, I think I only booked up Toki for an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give them mic real quick so he can say his final thoughts, and then we can continue with the interview.
Sorry, Toki, I like to ramble.
No. You know, I usually do like the special circumstances of today. Well, I still talk to you with some like deep stuff tomorrow. I'm like looking forward to it. So yeah, it's been a pleasure as always, man, and we'll continue doing this, man. I'm pretty sure this won't be the last time.
Yeah, I hope, man. I'm happy to come back anytime, man. I'm happy to just be able to talk my shit like this. This is good fun.
All right, guys, we'll see ya.
All right, enjoy, man. Enjoy.
We'll see you in the TSG interview, Toki.
Oh yeah,
man. Vote Toki.
Vote Toki.
Yeah. No, I can say that on this channel.
All right, cheers, guys.
See you, man.
All right, peace. Yeah, there's no way I can say that on my channel with the interviews. I have to be objective there.
Yeah, it's okay. We understand. But you're pretty objective, man. We're pretty biased here on our show. We like to give everyone, even the co-host, and an opportunity to give their opinion, right? Because at the end of the day, this is edutainment, and we also want to give our opinion. So you asked about Axie Infinity. I used to play a little bit, but I mainly had like an academy, right? Like I bought like a bunch of teams.
What is an academy? Sorry, I don't know anything about Axie.
So like it's
I
like a
didn't get
guild.
involved at all.
It's like a guild, right? Like you have people that like an academy. It's like the Spanish word, you like academia.
Yeah.
And like I would buy the teams and then I would lend them out, right? Like,
Oh, okay.
so those scholars would learn about business. I would teach them Excel. I would teach them accounting.
Wow.
I taught them a bunch of stuff like how to get their SLP from running chain all the way to Binance so they could convert it into USD
Crazy.
coin, BUSD or Tether, whatever. We don't support Tether on this channel. So anyways, things like that. And then, helping them like, okay, you earn this here, you can save up here. Maybe you can buy your own team in Axie. Maybe you can invest in other games, right? Because you send it to Binance. So that's basically the academy, right? You're teaching people while you're also providing assets for them to earn money for you and for them, right? And they get a percentage. So that's like, for me, that's very important because there are big economies around that. There's a lot of people in Latin America, and then I think also in like more impoverished Asian countries,
developing countries. Yeah,
that was like a big thing back then, right? In Philippines and like Venezuela, people were like making a living from Axie Infinity. So I think we definitely want Illuvium to be play and earn, and I think it's going in that route, like no doubt. Like the graphics are insane, but I think there also needs to be talks about how to involve like the very common Joe, like people like in very impoverished countries, like, and that's, I think, mobile gaming, right? So, and we have Illuvium Zero. So if we can get Illuvium Zero on the phone and hire scholars to manage the land, I think a lot of people are going to invest, dude. And I think that's also maybe a bad thing for the people that are trying to buy tier ones, because a lot of whales are going to be like, okay, I'll just buy a fuck ton of tier ones.
There's more tier ones than anything else. So you'll get your main ones and then you fill up the gaps with T1s.
Yeah, man. And you come up with a strategy of like first as the academy owner, you have to, or the guild, whatever, you have to come up with a strategy and you build a blueprint, no pun intended, of how those people can earn the fuel, how those people can identify blueprints, and you're basically stacking that to sell it in the Illuvidex, right? Which it's a business model. So what do you think about that, Javi? I know you weren't part of the Axie Infinity lending and sharing any of that. You were interested. You learned a lot through me. What are your thoughts on lending and sharing land?
I think it's pretty much the same as just having your property on Airbnb or having your property, renting it out. I think it's just something that makes sense with metaverse lands in general, especially if it generates yield, right? Because in other metaverses, you can lend it out. So let's say it's an office space in the metaverse, right? A co-working space in the metaverse. You can actually lend it out and they'll pay you for it. You have to do the advertising and everything. But here, like, it's more straightforward. The players already have the demand, like the fuel already has the demand from the players. The players need fuel. So there's less marketing involved there, right? So regards to that, I think it's pretty cool. I think lending would make sense once you have a big enough plot of land. Let's say you have a mega city and there's a lot. Maybe you take care of the T4 and T3s, which are mainstream, take less time. But all the T1s, like they have to. Well, actually, with mega cities, everything will be even more efficient. So maybe you'll have just one guy or two people do some shifts in there, and they can get maybe not a percentile of everything that's made, because I don't think that would be the best way, but maybe like a surcharge, a fee, right? So it'll be interesting how they'll set it up. If you have to put a percentage, or if you
Just
can
like
make
a
fee,
flat
a
charge.
flat
Yeah.
fee. Yeah, every
Yeah.
month, if you do this for X amount of hours, or you produce this amount, you can get this bonus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just have like I think if you hit this target, you get this much guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah. When I had Axie, I would basically, like, you produce SLP, right? So like some would produce 2,000 SLP, others would produce 1,000. So
Yeah.
I had like a minimum per day, which was them like basically renting that team for me, and anything that made on top of that was theirs, right? So like their percentage was derived of me getting my minimum, which was reasonable, based on the averages. And then they would make a commission on top of that. So like that incentivized, like, okay, I need to meet my goal, and then everything after my goal is like mine, right? And I think also I've seen this, and I've seen it in interviews with like Vetamore, which was very vocal about him not knowing if he was going to buy or not. But like I think
did Vetamore say he wasn't sure if he was going to buy?
He said he wasn't sure, and I actually saw his handle appear.
Yeah,
in
so
SLV2.
so
really? So he's getting involved. Did you see how much he bought?
No, I didn't see. I saw that he bought like almost at the bottom. So he.
I saw, but we're just not gonna say. I think that's I think if you know
how
check
on chain, we can check on
chain. If you go to the ether,
it's in there.
You'll also see.
I'll check Etherscan later. later.
You might also see Astro Tochi around there, or my name. So it's just But the point is, I think a lot of people are worried about lending their land. And they're like, oh, like I want 100% of the revenue if I'm buying land. And I'm like, dude, like you're thinking, I think it's a little nearsighted, because if we believe in the long term of Illuvium, do you think you're going to be every single day, even if it's a tier 4, creating like we create content weekly, multiple times, like multiple days a week. Do you think I'm gonna be there even if I have a tier 5? I'm gonna be there mining it myself. Like, no, I'm probably gonna hire somebody, right? Like it's more efficient long term.
We have lives, man. We have things to do. Like it's just like, and if you have multiple lands, like man, most of us have like most of us have lives. Like we have like things like, I don't know if you guys have like jobs outside of content. Like for me, I've got 2 jobs outside of content. So I'm like, I work 14 hours a day, plus I do YouTube. Plus, I have a wife. It's like, man, you want me to also like, it's like you want me to like sit down and like focus on the Illuvium game itself and knock out the Illuvium 0. Like, man, there's only so much time in the day. Like, I physically can't. So, lend it out, man. Like, I don't see why people are against that. That kind of trips me out.
It has to make sense, right? Like, you can't lend it out and you, like have it not make sense financially for both parties. It has to make sense. And I agree. But I think in the beginning, everyone's just so hyped that probably they're just gonna learn how they work, so that they can teach the other people how to be more efficient, what your strategy is, and then like be extremely competitive there in that area.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I'm going to play it too. I'm not saying I'm not going to play it, but I think a lot of like when I ask a lot of people, they're like focused on like, oh no, like I want 100%. I'm like, dude, like
and min-max it,
like give that person 40, 45%. You take 55% of the revenue. You're like, and this is going back to like our conversation with Jirachi. Like people think about ROI, and I think about, oh, how much income can it generate? No. ROI means capital invested and versus capital appreciated. So like the value in itself of the land is also appreciating it. So like if you are a land owner, you have value tied to the land. And if you're making 50% of the income additionally, getting back the capital you invested, then that's also a win, man, when you don't have to spend any time on it. And then somebody that's maybe less fortunate than you, they want to work it every day, right? Like they want to actually make money from it, and you're making passive income, and then eventually you can use that passive income to maybe buy another land, right? And hire somebody else.
And some people value that time, right? So it's like,
I mean, of course, like you, man, you have a whole fucking Calendly so that people can get a hold of you, right? Like you're
Yeah.
gonna be adding like, oh, this is land time here. Like, let me
Can you
block my
imagine? It's
schedule.
like, yo, I'm blocked out for these 3 hours because I got to do work on all the land that like it's stupid.
No,
Yeah.
it's that like for me, I manage properties as well as my other side hustle over here. It's
Yeah,
not my
shit.
main thing.
Yeah.
And bro, at the beginning, I was the one doing everything, and
Yeah.
it was horrible.
Yeah.
You know, like I had to do the cleaning. I had to do like I something broke. I had to fix it. I had like I just a bunch of things just pile on top of you, and you have to do your main job. You have to do that. You have to cater for your social life as well, and sometimes it just takes a hit, and that's how you learn. Your time is more precious than maximizing that profit. Like I'd rather have a clear mental state than to be stressed all the time and making a lot of money. Like I would prefer having a nice balance. And also you're helping other people. Like that's so satisfying that they can actually earn a living from you. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the other part.
Even like, on a personal level, like, because like I said, I've got 2 jobs. On a personal level, I'm actually looking to quit one of those jobs in the next month or so, just because I'm like, man, money isn't like, I'd rather, now that I'm building content and stuff, I was like, man, give me a little bit more time where I can focus on content and just spend time with my wife, man. Like, it's just, like at some point, it's like you realize, like, you need to like take time for yourself, and like you need to find some kind of balance. Like, it's not sustainable to grind like that forever. Like,
I like to take this opportunity to shout out to TSG's wife, and then a shout out to my wife, and a shout out to Javi's future non-existent wife. That
she's out there, man. She's out there.
Yeah, man, because it's dude, it's so much, right? Like we don't realize until you actually get into this world how hectic it can get, dude. And then once you start getting a little recognition, a little fan base, dude, it gets more busy, right? Like, so I think we're at the point where we have to keep building, but we also have to kind of like decide what do we want to do. So it's definitely.
I tell my wife, I tell my wife every day, man. Oh, not every day, but like I tell her so often. It's like, yo, I can only do the shit that I do because of you. Like the fact that she like helps out, like she honestly, it sounds so crazy. Man, I'm gonna go personal, like because I'm working so much. Like she'll put my clothes in the washing machine, like every day for lunch. Like I'll come back home and she'll be like she'll have a meal cooked for me, and like it just takes away the stress of that. And like she understands, like, oh, yo, if I'm messaging people late at night, like last night I slept at 4 a.m. Like, and I come back into the bed and it disturbs her sleep. But man, she's just being like, anyone that has a partner like that, like appreciate it, because it's hard to really build without like sustainably without someone. I won't say without a partner, but without someone that actually like understands and helps you like that. So if you are in that position where you have someone, like tell them, make sure they know.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's a full dude. It's so much, and they are literally our partners, right? There are 50-50 partners in this business, and I tell her that too. Like, hey, I'm trying to build something for us. I really appreciate all the time you're taking, etc. But this is like, you know, once we get to a certain point, then this can be our business, and then I'll have the time for my other job, free for us, right? So like. It's a building stage, right? So I think we went a little on a tangent, but it's just we want to appreciate the people in our lives that help us get to where we are. So
again, like I said, me on this podcast, I'm glad because I can actually say the stuff that I feel and my philosophies on things. So yeah, like I said, I ramble a bit, but it's my first time I'm actually getting to just kind of let people know who I am and where I stand. So I'm excited. Sorry about the rambling.
No, man, it's great. So I guess we have. Another question is, you know, what land will you be going for, man? Like
T5.
What do you...
My plans are to buy both T5. No.
Oh man, we have a baller.
I'm not sharing any nuts. No. I'll tell you my budget, like in US dollars. My budget in US dollars is about. Before I say this, I think land is. There's a lot of speculation with land. So only put in what you're not willing to lose, but don't overly go into it. like just make sure you look at your portfolio correctly and make a decision based on that. Like don't FOMO in it and things like that. With that being said, my goal is I'm looking at spending about minimum 10,000 USD to about 20,000. That's my budget there. That is going to be in SILV. I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to use ETH for that. So my goal ideally is I'd like to get a tier 3, and I'd like to get a tier 3 and a tier 2, like, and maybe possibly a tier 1, just as a random piece that I might flip or just because my goal with that is I want to have a tier 3 for myself that I actually use like seriously. And the other ones, maybe 2 tier 1s or something like that. Essentially, I want to have 3 bits of land. That's my goal. I'm aiming for 3. The reason for that is 1 is my personal thing that I can use like seriously. The second piece I want to use for content, just like trying different things or trying a new strat, or what if we put this next to this, and just make content around it. And then the third one, I'd like to see how, like, if I flip it, what could happen there. But essentially, yeah, tier 3 is ideal, and then a couple of tier 1s. Otherwise, tier 2, couple of tier 1s. And if I really can't get a tier 2 with the budget I have, which it seems unlikely, just a bunch of tier 1s. But again, I don't want to get as many tier 1s because, like I said, I think that's going to be the highest premium.
So
and I don't want to play that. Yeah.
So why wouldn't you use like a free tier 0, which will look like a tier 4 for your content, and then
that's a possibility.
And then just buy like a tier 4 or wait for a tier 4.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough for a tier 4. I think I've had a look. I don't think the number that I have is enough, and so, like, I don't want to use all of my silf.
So, like, theoretically, right? If you're willing to spend 20,000, that could get you that's right now. That's like that's 10 ETH.
Yeah.
So what is the starting price for the tier 4?
Oh man, just like oh man, I need to look.
Tier 4, 80.
80, right?
Okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So it has to fall a lot.
So it has to fall to 40. Let's say it falls to 40 ETH, right? And you're getting, you're doing you're getting 20 ETH, right? Or right?
20,000.
10 ETH.
Okay. Yes.
So like if you do the arbitrage with SILV2, you can get potentially 20 ETH. So that's probably where you'll tap out.
Possibly.
So it needs to get to 20 ETH more or less. I see.
Which is
and tier 3 seems like it's more possible. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with like I want to go for a T4.
I was gonna ask you, what do you guys want? Yeah, T4. Crazy.
But with the amount of whales that are in the space, I think they're probably gonna get the T4s before I'm able to.
What do you guys think is so? I've laid out my thesis on why I believe tier 1 is going to go with the highest premium. What do you guys think is going to be sold at the highest premium, and what do you think is going to be sold at the lowest? Like, what do you think is actually going to? Which tier do you think we're actually going to see the Dutch auction push the price to the lowest of the starting price, compared to the one that we're going to see people just buy in at the highest premium?
Okay, so in my opinion, the lower tiers are gonna, people are just gonna FOMO in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be bots that are gonna just FOMO in and buy a bunch at the top price because it's not that expensive, right? When you're talking 1 ETH or what is it, 1 ETH or 2 ETH?
2
Ethereum. Yeah, 2 Ethereum. That's not that much for a normal person that has been in the space for a while.
Yeah.
And so I think they probably will fall a little bit, but people are just gonna FOMO in just so that they can get their piece. Yeah. Because if it falls too much, there's definitely gonna be a whale that just buys
it up.
Just buys.
Do you guys have do you guys have the prices that you guys have like decided that you're willing to pay? And if you don't want to share, that's fine. But if you guys,
Okay, so for me, it's based off of the original prices, right? So the original starting prices, that's where I'm looking at. So for tier 4, it would be 20 20
Mhm.
ETH. Tier
Right,
3, I think it was.
When you say original, you mean the original IIP? That was
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, because I think those were fair. Like,
yeah,
I could actually afford any one of those except the T5, which has always been out of range.
yeah.
But with how they put it, now I'm out. I actually have to wait. So I think
You need to
that
actually wait.
update, that update did its job.
Did its job. Yeah, did its job. Yeah.
To my deterioration, right? Now I'm a little bit more stressed because before I'm like, I can just scoop it up whenever I want. It's completely fine. And now it's like, okay, I have to wait for my price range. So I think I'm basing it off of that. How about you, Julio?
Yeah. So I'm kind of like you, man. I think half. I want to see half, dude. I think this is gonna be 3 days where people are FOMOing in on the first day, people FOMOing in at the tailor end. So somewhere in between, I want to see where the prices go. But I agree, like the tier 1s and the tier 2s. I think guilds, I think whales are gonna be like, okay, I can afford to maybe like pay a premium on a tier 1 because it's like relatively cheap. I'll get somebody to play for it. But then I'll wait for the tier 4 a little bit and the tier 3. And if it gets to a certain price, I'm gonna buy it. Like, and I'm talking like a whale, right? So I think on your first
Yeah, I feel like I'm the little fish with I'm the little fish with amongst us three.
No.
I think we're all pretty even, man. Honestly.
No.
I have no idea, but I think we're pretty even.
Yeah, like so I will try to get either, like, I wanted to get a tier 3 initially, and then this whole SIOV dump, the market crashing kind of affected those plans. Now ETH is collaborating and dumping a little bit, not dumping, but like so ETH is
But
like
it's
falling down a little bit.
It's falling down a little bit. So I will see. I'll definitely try to go for a tier 1 just to have that, and then with a tier 0, I can create content basing it off like a tier 4 and then speculate a little bit. The reason I'm not so rushed anymore is because, one, I want to see how it plays out, and I want to maybe wait for the main game to come out to actually be able to lock in those profits when I'm generating them. So plus we have 4 more sales that will come after this. So I know there's a lot of land that and we might have to pay a little premium in that one. You know, the prices might change, the prices might go down, right? So like, who knows what happens? So right now,
this can help us a lot.
Yeah, I want to ask a 2-part question to you guys. I just thought about this. One, I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Are you guys looking to buy with Silv or ETH? And the second part of that question is, are you planning on, if you are using Silv, which I'm going to assume you are you planning on depleting your entire bag of Silv, or are you going to leave some for a possible arbitrage, or hold on to it for Illuvitage?
Okay, Julio, you can start this one, man.
Julio,
So I've done.
I'm not sure.
I've done a bit of degen trading recently, dude. I had to buy a lizard. I couldn't stay away from the lizard. So some of the money I had for land, I used on a lizard, and then this other project came out called Fat Cats, and I also kind of degen into that project. So I'm like trying to arbitrage those opportunities, and then once I maybe take some profits, if I can, then I'll think about, okay, this is how much profit I make, this is how much I can go for land. But my original theory was that Silv 2 is super scarce, right? So when people start claiming the Silv 2 and start using it day 1 and day 2, that's going to drive scarcity in the market for Uniswap, right? So the price is going to migrate towards the IOV price, right? So like, I thought there would be an opportunity to buy some land with the SIOV2, and once it got close to IOV, dumping it to buy IOV, right? Or like, and maybe even claiming, instead of claiming IOV at that point, claiming SIOV2 to sell it on Uniswap and rebuy IOV and ETH, because now it's liquid. So I
it
see
sounds
both.
like you've had a conversation with Doraji because
Yep.
that's exactly what
Yep.
you're saying.
Yes. So yeah, we've had a conversation with Daraji. This is also something that I was speculating on beforehand. Like I knew SIOV2 because I've been here since last year. So I saw when SIOV2 I think reached $700 and IOV was like at 900, 800 something. So like I've seen that run, and then the exploit happened and I couldn't sell, which made me really mad because I was like, I remember telling Javi like, dude, let's fucking sell the SIOV2. And he's like, no, man, fucking land.
Oh, shit. Daraji's in chat. What's good, Daraji?
My man, Daraji.
Yo.
Yeah, man. So then when we talked to Daraji, dude, that kind of strategy came into play. What are you doing, Javi?
So for me right now, because of all the volatility, I was initially just pouring in capital from my day jobs into SILV2, but that didn't work out that well because it's just fluctuating a lot more than Ethereum at the moment, and so if we're basing it off of the price of Ethereum, if SILV2 or ILV takes a dump, it takes a dump larger than Ethereum. So what I'm doing is I'm actually accumulating Ethereum, and once we get close enough to the land sale, I'm gonna start buying SILV2, and that way I can at least, speculating here, get a 2x on my Ethereum, and therefore I can buy the land I want. I'm also participating in some Degen stuff with the Fat Cats. I bought a
What is
couple
Fat
of
Cats? What is Fat Cats? I've heard a few people talk about it. What is going on? Who
So-
are these cats and why are they fat?
Okay, so these cats, I found them out in the Illuvium Degen trading channel, and I also found them inside the ETH Lizards NFT channel.
Oh,
and
shit.
then so the
Yo, I need
community
more time,
right
man.
there.
Jesus.
So the community is actually like looking at it a lot. So that's why it got my attention. And then what they're doing is something similar to ETH Lizards, but instead of being an investment DAO, they're actually just investing in blue chip NFTs. And that's how they'll derive the value. So every blue chip, everyone that has one of the 5K Fat Cats gets a portion of it, of that share, right? So so that's cool. That's what it is. So it's
and the
it's
reveals
a really cool
today
thing.
at 2 I mean
3.
it's in
3 p.m.
And
it's
is the team doxed? Do they have any like advisors that are reputable in the space? Like what's the buzz there?
Yeah, so the team is doxed, and they're actually like they're actually going through nomination for council as well.
Oh, cool.
And they require the council to be doxed as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, and they go through IIP processes as well. It's kind of like in the early stages, similar to ETH Lizards, like maybe a couple months ago. So yeah, they're still trying to find out, but they have a couple advisors, and I think there's a lot of people from Illuvium and ETH Lizards that are in that community and that are active. So it's like I see it as a affiliate project, to everything that we're doing here in Illuvium, and then transcending to ETH Lizards and then Fat Cat. So yeah, man.
There's still a Degen move, not financial advice. We could lose everything. Of course.
Any NFT PFT thing is just completely Degen stuff.
So we're like how many days away? We're like less than 2 weeks away from the land sale.
Exciting times.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for that. Are you gonna be streaming that? I think Scoriox will be.
I think Scoriox he's planning a 24-hour stream, which is nuts. I'm not going to do
that.
Day 1? Possibly. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for him, but I think that's what he's planning on doing. I'll probably jump on that stream with him for a little while. Maybe I know for a fact that we'll probably be doing a Augment podcast during the last day on the Saturday. Maybe second day, I forget. But that will happen, and I will probably stream a little bit. I might do like a 5-6 hour stream, depending on the situation. But yeah, I will try. I'll try my best to get involved in that and stream that because I think it'll be good fun. And I'd love to have like you guys on, Vulcan on, just kind of have you guys just talk some shit. Honestly,
yeah, man. We
definitely.
I was thinking like there's gonna be a lot of content creators streaming during that time, and like imagine like let's say we're streaming.
If we organized it. If we
like,
organize it, that'd be sick. Yeah.
You can jump in, like I'll send you a link to my StreamYard and you can jump in for like 10 minutes and you know, talk about what you've seen, and then you can jump into another person's stream, and then we can like all be
rotating,
sharing content together. I think that'll be great. But we have a question from our friend Toriel, which is also an ETH lizard. Greetings, my Liz.
We are everywhere.
We are everywhere. So everyone here on this panel is an ETH lizard holder. So
absolutely. And I'm honestly, with my bags of ETH lizards, I am planning on holding 10. I'm not planning on getting lower than 10. So I am a big believer in the ETH lizards. So I'm excited to see what they do in the next few years. But yeah, the question. 5% going to landholders, 5% fuel only, or all revenue? That is fuel only. That's a pretty easy question to answer.
Yeah, Toriel. So basically, the way it works is like your land will make 100% of certain fuel, right? And then the DAO, right, will take 95%. It sounds like a little like when you say it like that, it sounds like communism, but no, this is just to maintain
everyone. That was everyone.
Oh yeah.
But we have to like that goes to rev this, that goes to everything. So
exactly. No, I'm just saying like how I worded it. It sounds like
you should be where I am in China right now, man. They're probably gonna love that.
Yeah. No, but yeah, like 95% will go into the DAO vault and then redistributed, but then 5% of the fuel is going to be in your wallet, and you can use it as you may. You can use it to produce more fuel or whatever you can do in the land, or you can sell it for Ethereum in the Illuvium deck. So yeah, thanks for your question, man. Let us know if that made sense or if you have any more questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Sorry, we went on a tangent here.
Always, man.
Yeah, no.
That's normal for me. You should have figured that out by now.
So have you this is a question we asked Jiraji, and just getting your thoughts on it.
Nope. The answer is no. Have I analyzed the different land tier production? Nope. That is not what I do. I am not a technical guy like that. Like what you guys do, I'm definitely more entertainment than educational per se. Like it's very general education that I do. Stuff like that, no clue. That's why I have friends like Daraji and Scariox to inform me about stuff like that. Have you guys done analysis on that? Like,
yes.
So if we ever have an Illuvium Oscars, then TSG is your guy. If
I'm the host, absolutely.
Yeah. if you want to talk about the numbers, then you call Jiraji. So we got that part.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We've already got we're starting to assemble the Illuvium Avengers right now. We know where the roles are.
Yeah, I'll let Javi. I know Javi has an opinion on this.
Well, educate me. Yeah.
No, so basically I'm similar in this team. I'm basically the Raji or the Scoriox in this team. I'm extremely technical. Well, okay, apparently Julio also. No, but yeah, we're
jack of all trades.
We're pretty technical. Julio's an account how do you say contable?
Accountant.
So Julio's an accountant. I'm an engineer, and I also do a lot of other things. And so the numbers have to make sense to me, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm trying to see which land tier to go for, actually Tolkien did a really good analysis that I didn't. He saw it in a completely different way that I did, and he started to say it as fuel production and comparing everything to tier ones. So he saw that if you buy 40 tier ones, that would be equivalent to 1 tier 4, but that's not counting for the
the production boost
the
and the
production
additional
boost.
element side. So basically, it's like it's doing a 1-for-1 comparison on price based on ETH, right? So like the tier ones are priced at 2 ETH, right? So that fits 40 times within 80 ETH, right? So like if you're measuring tier 1 versus tier 4, but then you have to account for how much additional element sites, how many additional fuel sites, and then what is the production boost, right? And then the time component. So like it just comes down to tier 40 is the most cost efficient land, or tier
40,
tier 4.
man. We going tier 40 now? Jesus. Yo.
There's only one of them.
The inner whale is coming out. He doesn't even want tier 5. He wants tier 40.
Yeah, man, you guys pick me out. But yeah, basically that it comes down to it. And I think we talked to Jiraji about it, and Jiraji was, I think, in agreement with us that obviously if somebody can afford a tier 4, then that's probably going to be the most efficient investment, right? Like time, the time it takes to produce the resources and get your money back, etc. So yeah, man, that's what we thought. But I mean, I'm obviously going for a tier 5. I'm competing with Kieran and with crypto.com and Coinbase. So like look out for me over there. But for you guys, you little sharks and
tier
little,
ones, we'll try to scrape by, get one tier 1 if we can.
No, but yeah, definitely. I think if you have enough capital, tier 4 and tier 3 are going to be the ones to go for because of the efficiency boost. With tier 3, you have the element boost, and with tier 4, the fuel boost, and everything comes down with land. Everything comes down to fuel. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. That's why I say I'm really gunning for the tier 3. Again, I don't know the exact analysis, but my assumption is if I can get a tier 3, it makes more sense to get a tier 3 than anything else. Yeah.
And right now, bro, we don't know we don't know the exact numbers. This is theoretical based on
all speculation. Yep.
This is we're just multiplying. Hey, like this one has 3 element sites, the other one has 6. How can we make an analysis on that? How can we incorporate the production boost? But it's not based on dollar amount. It's not based on ETH.
We don't know anything.
As Daraji would say, we need to wait for the data.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is that we have no idea how much it's going to produce. So it's all dependent. Like the analysis would make more sense if we knew how much ETH each land could produce.
Yeah.
But that's the independent variable. Like that's the thing that we don't know. So we have to make assumptions on it to see if it makes sense, and we won't know until the game comes out. So that's the thing.
But luckily we don't have too much longer to wait. Hopefully, again, like you said, under 2 weeks for the land sale, which is exciting. We've been waiting a long time for that. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. It feels like everything's starting to roll, man. Like, I just hope that we start hitting some milestones. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited what's coming. I can't, dude. It's been a wild year. I've been here since September, October timeframe.
Me too, man. September is when I first stayed.
And dude, it's May. We got a private beta, which we all have played. Yeah. And I'm actually, dude, I once we get off this live, I wanna play some private beta. I got some time, and because
I'll see if my wife lets me. It's like midnight now.
It's
I
so
need to get
addictive.
permission.
Yeah,
definitely need to get permission tonight.
For sure, man. So we got the private beta, we got the land sale coming out, and after that, we got some Illuvitar. So if you got some SIOV2 left over, you might want to invest in Illuvitars, man. So I mean, just do your own research.
I'm definitely going to Illuvitars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a degen. I've realized now over the past few months, I am definitely a degen. I'm like, I'm being pretty reckless with my habits right now.
No, but it's all things that are backed by a project that we believe in, and it has a product, right? And we can clearly see, like, one of the things that convinced me about Illuvium was their leaks channel.
Yeah.
Like, the tokenomics are sweet, but then there's a lot of projects that are like, oh, this is coming. Trust us.
Trust is so much trust.
And it's like, man, there's so many rug pulls going on. I don't know if I trust anyone right now, and that's not wise. I'd rather hold my ETH instead of trusting someone that's not showing me any progress, and we have to just wait and see everything through an AMA.
Yeah,
I like that they just leak stuff, and we're saying, oh well, like that's a 3D model of an Illuvial. That's how Illuvators are gonna look. The artists coming together. Like, look at these mechanics. The graphics might not be there yet because they're working on the mechanics of it, how the movements go, but we're actually seeing progress, and I think that's something that brings a lot of trust there.
Yeah, that's why I think having the private beta is so important, man. Like, we're finally, like, even now with this dip, like, I bought more, and I think it's like the first time I bought since the private beta, and it's like, yo, so the price went down, and most people are scared. Because I have the private beta, I'm like, nah, this is so obvious. Buy more. Like, it's so obvious. It's like, yo, again, none of this financial advice, but to me, it was very obvious. I'm like, yo, this is a done deal. Like, I'd be an idiot not to. Yeah,
it's like perfect timing because a lot of projects, especially NFT projects, there's a lot of land going out. Like, I know there's a couple in Cardano, there's a couple on Ethereum, obviously, and excuse me, for most of them, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
So like when the market's dipping, everyone's like, shit, I need my liquidity back. Like, where is this going? But us in Illuvium, we can see the start of the products rolling out. And the first rollout is amazing. So you can just, like, even when it's with its bugs and everything, it's still so addictive. The graphics are so nice. And it's a real game, dude. So
it's built that foundation of trust. Having that product out has built that foundation of trust. So it's so much easier to be like, yeah, I believe that you guys are going to do what you're going to say you're going to do. You've already shown me that you're doing it. So
and are capable of it. Like, they did it in such a short amount of time, like 18 months, have a working beta that actually looks like a playable game, right? It is a playable game. Like, it could be a standalone game in and of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really can't. I'm really excited about everything, but I really want to start catching my Illuvials, especially Scariox.
You said,
man, why does everyone love Scariox so much? So wild.
He's a beast, bro. He's a beast.
Yeah.
Dude, because he's broken.
Adorius.
Adorius is gangster. Adorius is gangster.
I adore Adorius.
Yeah, all right, man.
Yeah, man.
As well. Oh my god, so many.
Yeah,
man. I'm so pumped. It's gonna be great, man. And I think the DeFi community, the gaming community, is starting to realize little by little.
Have you seen Daraji's comments? Yo, hilarious.
Yeah, man. Daraji's going wild in the comment section.
Yo, I need to sign a contract with my wife.
Yeah, definitely.
Why do you think I do these in the morning, bro? Like, this is when she's sleeping, she's having her coffee. She doesn't need me yet. So
I'm so happy I have the studio now, man. The fact that I'm in a separate part of the apartment is so helpful. Because back in the day, it was like I lived in one apartment where I would do it on the sofa in the living room, and behind me was the bedroom where she was sleeping. And I was like, oh my god, like
I remember that.
So bad.
Don't stand up.
Sofa talks with TSG. I remember those.
Sofa talks, yeah. Actually, I'm thinking about once the game comes on, once the game is live and stuff, I might start a series playing in PJs where I might just wear my pajamas and just like stream in my pajamas and just be comfortable.
You look pretty comfortable now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always comfortable. If I stood up, you would see I'm actually wearing PJs on my PJ bottoms right now.
Nice. We don't need you to stand up, so it's all good.
Fine. Just take my word for it. Trust me.
Yeah.
100%. So I guess, dude, we've been here for 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Thank you for listening to the ramblings of a madman. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. So yeah, we talked about the Illuvisexuals in the Hispanic community growing. So I think Jiraji missed that part. He was part of that conversation last time. And I guess, is there any closing arguments from your side, TSG? Anything you want to get out, let your people know? Any upcoming events that you're working on your channel that you want people, to be aware of?
Yeah, so first thing, and I'm actually really glad this is the first time I've been asked this. Subscribe, everyone that's watching, subscribe to your channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Because honestly, like, I remember when I had Vulcan on and he did the same thing to me, and I was like, oh man, those like it just felt good. So I want to pass that on. I really hope that everyone, the first thing that they do is show you guys some love, follow you guys on Twitter, do all of that good stuff. You guys obviously like doing an amazing job. You've had Venomore on, Daraji on. I've enjoyed this conversation immensely. I really hope I can come back on again. Maybe after the land sale, even. We don't need to wait too long. But yeah, you guys are doing amazing work, man. And you guys are definitely intelligent guys as well. I get that vibe. So anyone that is watching, subscribe to you guys. Otherwise, yeah, man, check my channel. Obviously, I'm doing the council nomination interviews right now. Like I said, I've currently got 11 interviews booked. I put out 5. I've got another 6 more, I think. And I'm sure I'm going to get more. So if you want to stay up to date with that stuff and actually like vote, which is super important, stay informed on who you want to vote for. And yeah, let's just see how that goes. And just a massive shout out to Scarrox as well, who is my co-host on our podcast. So yeah, there's so many things, man. But yeah, just thank everyone. I honestly thank everyone in the Illuvium community for like giving me the opportunity to do this kind of stuff. This is awesome. I really appreciate everyone. So thank you guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you as well for being here. I know you were the first, one of the first people that I reached out to. I like to reach out to my fellow content creators. I think there's a lot of people that do a great job. You mentioned some of them here. But yeah, man, you were very upbeat and like upfront. You wanted to come on the show, so I really appreciate that. Like you said, I had Venomore, who was also very great. We had Daraji, the GOAT, then dude, it's nice to have you here. So dude, we're gonna keep doing this. Our show is called Illuvium for All, which is a translation of Illuvium para todos, which is in Spanish.
Para todos.
Para todos, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, man, we're just trying to get Illuvium in everyone's hands. The Hispanics, the English speakers, even the French and German, everyone that wants to join. This is for everyone, right? So we really appreciate you being here, and we would love to come on your show sometime.
Absolutely, man.
Together, individually, we can make it work.
We'll definitely tee something up, man. We've got a couple of people already planned for mine and Scarrox's thing. But once we start having open slots again, I'll reach out for sure.
Yeah, man, This is a long-term play for everyone. Yeah. So, I think we're building relationships that are going to last. And then people are going to be like, oh, these guys, like 5 years from now, oh, these guys have been creating content together and collaborating since 2022. What the hell?
That's what that's what I said to that's what I said to Venomore, man. Back in the day, like the content, even like this is for people that don't know, there's like a content creator Discord, right? And I told him, I was like, man, before we even had that, I was like, I shot the idea to Scarix as well. And this is when I first started. I was like, yo, wouldn't it be a good idea to have a content creator Discord where people can share thumbnails, we can critique each other's like titles and just kind of help each other in that way. So like exactly like you said, in 5 years, and there's a whole bunch more people, like the original people are going to feel like, oh, we have that community. And it's not like we're excluding the new people, but we'll have that kind of like, oh man, remember when we helped each other from the very get-go? So it's cool that they did end up making that channel. I'm really, really glad. It's not as active, but it's still a good place to be. Which, I think the idea of building the community together is amazing. So
that's what crypto stands for, right? Like DAOs, everything. We're all just in this together, and we can work at it as a community. It's pretty cool.
100%.
We're all gonna make it.
Yeah.
No, we're not. Yeah, man. So awesome. TSG, everyone in the chat, thank you for being here. Toriel, Daraji, everyone that showed up even for a little second. We appreciate you. Thank you, Astro Toshi, as always, my brother. And thank you, TSG. Looking forward to doing this again, my brother. And
absolutely.
Everyone in the chat, thank you. We'll see you next time. This is Illuvium for All en arroz y habichuelas. Take care, my people.